Hey, Chorja, Conas Dashiv, Céad Míle Fáilte go dtí Homeschool Hub is mission Mútóir RTÉ, and you know what? I'm really excited about today's class because I've got a music class for everybody. And yeah, you know, I think music is a great thing to be learning about and practicing during lockdown. I'm actually learning how to play my dad's button accordion. Yeah, so my goal for lockdown is to learn the Ballydesmond polka. Trust me, it's slow progress, but you know, I'm giving it a good go anyway. So yeah, I'd love to hear your music, love to know what you're getting up to, and yeah, all your musical skills are great in the videos and stuff that you send into rte.ie/learn. Now, let's get started with today's music lesson. Really excited about this one. Today we're going to listen to songs and we're going to write our own songs. And we're going to be learning about one of my favorite genres of music, the blues. Now, in music and art, we use the word genre to describe the type or style of music. But before we get to the blues, let's begin with a song that you probably know. And it's not a blues song, right? It's by Harry Styles. It's called Watermelon Sugar, okay? Now, what I want you to look out for in this song is the structure, the verse, the bridge, and the chorus. We'll sing it first, and then we'll go through those things, okay? Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking out loud, and I don't know if I could ever go without watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high. All right, that's as far as I'm going to go with Harry Styles' amazing song about watermelons. Now, let's have a look at the song structure. Okay, now, we can see up here at the top, we have the verse. This is the verse up here. So, the verse. Okay, so it tastes like strawberries on a summer evening and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Now, have a look down here. Here is the chorus. Here's the bit that everybody knows and everybody sings at the concert and everything like that. So that's the chorus. And in between, we have a different melody again, and that's the bridge, okay? The bridge. So, like any bridge, it's getting us from one point to the other, the verse, into the bridge, into the chorus. Now, you might hear some other names. You'd often hear the bridge being called the pre-chorus when it gets us into the chorus, and the chorus is sometimes called the refrain. Now, the blues. Remember, we're learning about the blues today. Now, the blues have a very strong structure. But first of all, blues is a genre of music which originated in the deep south of the United States around the 1860s by African Americans. Now, it developed from roots in African musical traditions as well as African American work songs and spirituals and gospel singing and all that stuff. Now, blues incorporated gospel singing and work songs, field hollers, shouts and chants, and rhymed in simple narrative ballads. That means that like blues songs always told a story. Oh, and an awful lot of call and response too. We've done some call and response lessons in music. And a lot of the early blues music tended to be quite sorrowful. And that's why it's called the blues. I mean, for example, have you ever heard somebody say that they're feeling blue when they're sad? I think we've all heard that. Now, blues songs, like many other songs, conform to a standard song structure in the ways that, well, it varies in different blues songs, but there is a structure that we're definitely going to be looking at today. Now, I want you to listen very closely to a song, and it's called Lost Your Head Blues by Bessie Smith. And I want you to think about song structure, and I want you to think about the rhythm of the song as well. See if you can keep the rhythm of it. Here you go. Lost Your Head Blues by Bessie Smith. So that was Bessie Smith with Lost Your Head Blues, and it was recorded in 1926. Now, we're going to listen to it again, and this time I want you to analyze the structure, okay? We'll follow the lyrics as we go. Here we go. Off we go again. Bessie Smith. Absolutely beautiful stuff there from Bessie Smith. Now, what do we notice about it? Well, first of all, it uses words that we wouldn't normally use all the time. Let's say, like, that would have been used in the vernacular. That's what, you know, everyday people used at the time. Like, once ain't for always, two ain't but twice, and stuff like that. Any other example? Oh yeah. Now, since you've got plenty of money, you have throwed your good gal down. Okay, so we'd say you have thrown, for example, like that. So it's really using the common language of the people. Okay, what else do we notice? Oh yeah, the song structure. So we're all about the song structure today. So let's have a read. I was with you, baby, when you didn't have a dime. I was with you, baby, when you didn't have a dime. Repeat. Now, since you've got plenty of money, you have throwed your good gal down. So there's a change there. So there's a repeat, and then there's a change. There's a change in melody and a change in even the length of sentence. You can see the amount of words used. So it goes like this. I'm going to call this bit A, and this bit repeats. So this is A as well. And then this bit is B. Okay? Now let's have a look at this one. Once ain't for always, two ain't but twice. Okay, I'll call that A. Once ain't for always, two ain't but twice. Same words, same melody. I'm going to call that A. When you get a good gal, you better treat her nice. I'm going to call that B. So it's the same structure, AAB and then AAB. And this is known as the AAB blues format, and it's typical of many blues songs. So the first line presents an idea or an issue, and then the second line, well, it repeats it with sometimes a slight variation. And then the third line, well, that develops or resolves the idea presented in the first two lines. Okay? Now, we're going to compose our own blues song. So, what will we write about? So, something that we feel kind of blue about at the moment, something that we're not too pleased about. How about lockdown blues? Yeah, lockdown blues. Yeah, and what's going on during lockdown? None of the playgrounds are open. So, yeah, let's write a blues song, and it's all about the playgrounds being closed. And we're going to repeat the first two bits, and then we're going to resolve it with the third one. Okay? So AAB. Okay, the playground is closed. Now, it's very important that we notice that A and B don't refer to the chords, it's merely to the song structure. Okay, here we go. Lockdown blues. About the playground being closed. I used to swing all day, swinging to and fro. Yeah, I used to swing all day, baby, swinging to and fro. But since they closed that playground, I don't use the swings no more. Here's another one. The merry-go-round so merry for me. Yeah, that merry-go-round so very merry for me. But I remember the time I fell off that merry-go-round. Yeah, I fell off and hurt my knee. I got those lockdown blues, baby. I sit on that seesaw, baby. I see and you saw. Yeah, I sit on that seesaw, baby. I see and you saw. But since they closed my playground, well, I just sit here on the floor. I got those lockdown blues. Come on, one more about the playground being closed. Here we go. I used to slide on down, sliding on the seat of my pants. Feeling it. I used to slide on down, sliding on the seat of my pants. But because that slide is in lockdown, now I never get the chance. Singing the blues feels good. So, what have we learned? Well, we learned today about song structure. Remember with Harry Styles, we learned about verse, bridge, and chorus. Then we learned about the blues, and we learned about the structure of a blues song. We learned about the AAB blues structure. And not only that, but see the way we labeled our structure. That'll come in poetry as well. We learned to improvise and write rhyme in a fun and musical way, and we listened to the amazing Bessie Smith. And we learned how to sing the blues and a bit about how the blues makes us feel as well. Now, why not write your own blues song? It can be about anything. It can be a song about yourself, your brother or sister, your cousin. It can be about your favorite TV show. It can be lockdown blues like the one I wrote. It can be about anything whatsoever. And once you get into the rhythm of the blues, you find that it'll stay with you forever. But that's a great structure to start with. And have fun. Shiv, thanks for listening. Slán.
If you want to watch us all over again, you can find us on the RTÉ Player. And for more fun activities, go to rte.ie/learn. And if you're having any trouble with that, just ask a grown-up.
Ah! Hello and welcome back to the Hub Lab. It is good to see your good selves. I am Phil, this is my space, and wherever I'm doing my space is where my space is for science, because it doesn't matter where you are. You can do science anywhere. And today I wanted to bring you a joyous experiment, one that means a lot to me because it reminds me of my childhood. Yes, I was once a child too. And when I was a child, I spent a lot of my time in the sink. Sitting there, either getting washed as a baby or as I grow up, actually having and playing and pouring and putting cups on top of stuff or just having to figure out. And a lot of my love of science comes from those little play moments. And play is a fantastic way to figure things out. And also, it's a great way to find the fun in something really simple, like a sheet of paper. Yes, all of today's experiments can be done with a sheet of paper and a sink. What we are going to do today is we are going to make a boat from the sheet of paper. We are going to do some origami, which is folding of paper, to make a boat, and then we're going to do a little experiment, a little actually quite snazzy little thing in this test tank right beside me here. Now, we've done bits before where we talked about why things float, and a lot of it has to do with Archimedes' principle, which is the amount of push up thrust that you feel from the amount of water you displace, which is the amount of water that you push out of the way. So why boats are often shaped like this, so that they push away more water than they weigh, because boats relative to the size of them are actually quite, they're quite light for the size of them, but there's a lot of space inside them so that they can push water away, so they can feel that up thrust of water coming so that they float. So that's why they're often shaped like this. So density, the amount, they're not as dense. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this first in half along the long side. The folds for me are gonna have to be perfect. So this might take a little bit of time, so bear with me. So yes, we're gonna fold like that, and then you take one of the sides and you fold it up again in half along the side. So you're getting this fold here, so you're doing that on one side again. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, it is fine, you're doing your best, but what you're doing is you're doing the same on both sides, you're folding. And actually folds offer a lot of strength and structure into actually things that you create. So by actually putting folds in it, it creates like a ridge of strength. If something like a sheet of paper, it's quite floppy, but if you fold it, it stays up. More so along this line. So the more folds you put in stuff, it adds strength. So I'm going to fold this out here, and once you've done that in that, you're going to fold up the corners on each end. So I put one there like that at a right angle here, so you know where you're going. Your limit is you're folding it up on the corner up until this point here, so you'll end up with two flaps on one side like that. Then you turn it over and you do the same on the other side. You match it up. So you're doing the same on one side as you do to the other side. So you get it there like that, give it a press down. What could you do with this? You could color it in. You could have different shapes. You could color in the sheet first and then see what shapes appear or what it turns out like with, or you could then make the boat and then do it afterwards. So you've ended up starting to look a little bit like a boat shape. Then you fold again along that line, bring in another kind of fold, a triangle again. Shapes are important for strength, so we've got a fold line along here. We do the middle bit and we fold that up to the middle. So we're folding that up to the middle here like that. We turn this over this way and we fold that up to like that. So that is our folding done. So you come up with kind of a narrow piece of paper like this, and then you open up the middle bit, which looks quite boat-like shape, but you turn it up inside out. Get this to shape the way you want. You fold it along here, you flatten out the bits, and here we go, little boat. Now, it's a little bit complicated, but don't worry, there'll be instructions in a little video online. Just go to rte.ie/learn. That's where we live in our hub lab, but let's see if our boat will float. So, what we are going to do, and this is the snazzy little bit of experiment that I wanted to show you, it's not just the floating, is that when I put this in here and it floats, I have a container, and this might be like a lunchbox, or it could be a jar, or it can be anything else, but as the boat flows along, it's just something that's bigger than what the size of the boat. And what I want you to do is I am going to be able to make this boat float underwater without getting soaking wet all over it. I know, you ready? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over here. It's going to trap all the air inside it, and with the air trapped inside, when I push this down underwater, if you look inside, even though everything is underwater, the boat down here is floating on its own little bit of water. So this is exactly how diving bells work. If you've never heard of a diving bell, it's a contraption that traps air and it brings divers down or people to work underwater in a space or pocket of air. There's one on the quays of Dublin. You can see it, there's a big orange yoke. It's an ancient how they were building the walls. But if I lift this back up, and you can kind of see it now, it'll float, it's still floating, it's still floating, it's still floating, and it's not wet, it's not wet, it's not wet. There we go. Look at it. The idea with all of this is with simple ideas and play, you can start to explore, have a go at things, think what you could create. Engineers Week is coming up at the end of February. It's the perfect time. Why not have a go at this? Design some stuff and send us in your ideas. Go to rte.ie/learn, or even we have our very own free post box. Send us in your stuff. We would love to see your ideas. So would the world. Have a bit of crack. It's not about just dreaming big, it's about doing big. And all of the big ideas start small. Have a go, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
This is Art is an exciting art competition for young people brought to you by RTÉ and the Creative Ireland programme. We're looking for artwork inspired by the theme This Is Now. Everyone who submits a piece of art gets it exhibited on a cool digital gallery for all the world to see. The good news is that the competition closing date has been extended, so you have until the 31st of January to submit your artwork. We've been really enjoying looking at the amazing pieces of art that have been sent in and hearing from the artists about the stories behind them. Here's just a sample of some of the entries. Sally from Tipperary said that she believes art can help document and record the world during this global pandemic. Here is her self-portrait called My Life in Lockdown. Jude from Galway used his mum's oil paint and tried out an online tutorial to make this great picture of the great outdoors. Violet, aged 3, from Ballycotton, County Cork, collected materials from the beach and her garden to make a really cool piece of beach art. Beatrice from Monaghan submitted a painting, which she says is a reflection on the recent past and the difficulties that lie ahead. Kate from Kerry loves art and being creative. She got an easel and paints from Santa at Christmas, and the title of her art is Home is Where the Heart Is. Here's a beautiful sunflower from 4-year-old Presley May, who lives in Galway. She used a painting knife and her mum's paints. We think it's lovely and vibrant. This group of friends from County Cork call themselves the Bannaglana Kids Gang. They have been painting rocks on the beach, which they say really cheers up all the passers-by. Be sure to check out these works and more by visiting the This Is Art online gallery. And remember, if you want to submit your own work, the closing date is the 31st of January. All details can be found at rte.ie/thisisart.
Díomh agus fáilte roimh chuig an Homeschool Hub. It's Misha, Múntar John. Hope you're keeping well. Now, today, I thought we'd do some English, and we're going to focus on something that I've seen people making mistakes with time and time again. Now, not just children either. Adults can make mistakes with this too. And it's actually kind of funny because it's something really, really small, but really, really important. That's right, boys and girls. Fasten your seatbelts, because today we're going to be doing a lesson on the apostrophe. There it is. See it? Little teeny tiny apostrophe. Very small, very important. So this is an English grammar lesson. And I like to do grammar lessons while imagining that I'm cracking a code. It's like when I'm doing grammar exercises, you kind of need to make sure all your punctuation is in the right place before you can say, yes, I've cracked this. I've cracked the code. Now, that's just me though. And I'm a little bit strange, but give it a try. Think of it as cracking a code. So, like I said, today we're going to go through some of the ways that we use an apostrophe. Now, the first way we use it, it's actually quite simple. It's called the possessive noun. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's not, I promise. It just means that if something belongs to someone, we can use an apostrophe to show that it belongs to that person. See? Let's have a look over here. Now, first of all, like I said, we use an apostrophe for a possessive noun. So let's recap a little bit. What exactly is a noun again? Very good. A noun is a type of word that is a name, a place, a thing, or an idea. So if a noun is in someone's possession, as in they own it, you can use an apostrophe. Let me show you a few examples. We can rub out our little apostrophe over here as well. Okay, it is Clíona's dog. Who owns the dog? Clíona. So we can use an apostrophe to show that Clíona owns the dog. There we go. Let's try another one. Full stop, so we know the sentence has ended. It is Ray's copybook. Who owns the copybook? Ray owns the copybook. So we can use an apostrophe to show that Ray owns it. There it is. And let's do one more. It is Emer's bag. Who owns the bag? Emer owns the bag, so we can use an apostrophe. So they own these things, so that's why we use an apostrophe here, here, and here. Now, another time we can use an apostrophe is when one letter, or more than one letter, is left out of a word. So we call this type of word a contraction. Now, the word contraction actually means to make smaller. So if a contraction is a word that we're making smaller, let's have a look at a few examples. Let's look at some words that we could actually make smaller and where our apostrophe could fit in instead of the letters. Now, remember, I said when a word is missing a letter or letters, we can use an apostrophe. So we have should not. Two words. So we're going to make these two words smaller into one word by removing some letters. And instead of those letters, we're going to put in an apostrophe. So what contraction can we turn these two words into? Should not. Well, let's take out the O here. And instead, we can put in an apostrophe and squeeze the two words together. So that means that the word we get is shouldn't. Pretty cool, right? Let's do another one. Let's try had and not. What contraction can we turn these two words into using an apostrophe? Again, let's take out the O here. You're gone-o, and let's squeeze them together to make one word. So the word now becomes hadn't. And let's do one more just to make sure. I could not, would not, should not. So, could not. I'm going to squeeze it together. What do you think the answer is going to be? We're going to turn this into one word using an apostrophe. It is... couldn't. Excellent. So, now we're going... Hey. Now we are. That's another contraction right there. We are... You squeeze the word together, get rid of the letter A, and you put in an apostrophe. We are, we're. Another little contraction for you right there. So now we're going to look at some examples where two letters are replaced by an apostrophe. Let's write them over here. So let's take two words like... Whoops, make it a bit thicker so you can see it. He will. So the two letters we're going to take out for he will to make it into one word. Let's see. Two letters we're going to remove here are W and I. So we can scribble those out, push the word together and put in an apostrophe. So the word now is heal. So we could have he will or she will, which will become heal and she'll. And then we had I had as well, we could have that, and that becomes I'd. Now remember, just because more than one letter is missing here, it doesn't mean that you have to use more than one apostrophe. Just one. It's powerful enough to do the job all on its own. Now, the last thing you should really know about apostrophes is that you don't use apostrophes for plural nouns. Now that word plural means more than one. So, for example, a shoe is a noun. So there is one shoe, but there are two shoes. Shoes is the plural of the word shoe. Now, it happens so many times that I'm walking through town and I read a sign that says, games for sale, and it's written like this. Oh, let me wipe down my whiteboard so we can see it clearly. So again, you're walking down the road, you're in town, and you see a sign that says, we sell games, or games for sale, and it's written like this. Another one is, you might see something like, we sell socks, with a big apostrophe here and an apostrophe here. And I nearly faint every time I see it. So you don't use an apostrophe to show that something is plural, okay? So we have one game and we have many games. As long as there's more than one, it's plural, so many games. But we never use an apostrophe to show that there's more than one. Okay, now it's time for a test. Let's see who was listening and paying attention to old Mentor John, and let's see who was watching the birdies outside the window. Now, I'm going to wipe this down again. And what I have here is a short poem or a spell. Now, Isabella the witch is having trouble with her spell because there are a few mistakes in it as it's written down. There are no apostrophes in the spell at all. And because she's noticed the mistakes, well, she can't concentrate on her magic. So the spell isn't working when she says it out loud. She just keeps seeing these little mistakes in her poem. It's a tough day at the office for her, it really is. So what we're going to do is we're going to help Isabella out. We're going to have a look at this poem and we're going to see where the apostrophes can go. You ready? Here we go. The witch's spell. I'm going to read it for you first. A dog's paw, two smelly socks, a human toe that has kicked a rock, two lightning bolts, a wizard's stick, the perfect spell to make you sick. I never said Isabella was a good witch, but she's a witch and she has a spell and we need to help her. Okay, let's go through it. The witch's spell. Our witch, Isabella, owns this spell. So because she owns it, we can put an apostrophe in here. The witch's spell. She owns it. A dog's paw. Who owns the paw? A dog. There we go. 2 smelly socks. Now, because there's more than one sock, are we going to put an apostrophe in here? No! We don't use an apostrophe to show plurals. Next, a human toe. Seems fairly okay. That has kicked a rock. Now, that is correct. But if we wanted to, just because we're feeling confident with apostrophes now, we can turn this into a contraction. So what is the contraction for that has? Well, we can get rid of H and A. And instead, we can put in an apostrophe. So now it reads, a human toe that's kicked a rock. Perfect. 2 lightning bolts. Are we going to put an apostrophe in here for plural? No. A wizard stick. Who owns the stick? The wizard. So we can put an apostrophe in there. The perfect spell. Seems okay. To make you sick. Again, that seems fine. Very good. Well done you. So now we know that you can use an apostrophe for a possessive noun. We know you can use an apostrophe for a contraction, making a word smaller, removing some letters and putting in your apostrophe. And we also know that you don't use an apostrophe when you're talking about plurals without possession. You know, that's a good morning's work. Well done, all of you. I've got a great idea. Why not write out some grammar sentences for someone at home and try and catch them out? You can even add in some more grammar traps for them to fall into. You could put a name without a capital letter. Or you could put a sentence that doesn't end in a full stop. No, stop, please. Or you might even write the word brother as bruv, B-R-U-V. The horror. Have a think about it and see what you can come up with. Oh, don't forget to send us your work at rte.ie/learn. Slán agus tórára.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emer, and it's time for some exercise. Today, we're going to work on getting our heart rate up and our bodies moving. It's so important to do some sort of exercise every day, whether it's running, walking, or just playing. So, to take our heart rate, usually what you do is you take your 2 fingers and you can put it here on your wrist, or you can put it up here on your neck, just underneath your jawline. And so, for me right now, my heart rate is, I'd say, between 70 to 100 beats per minute. But what I'm hoping is that after we do this exercise, my heart rate will pump up and be up in the high hundreds. It shows to me that I'm working really, really hard. So if you have a second, maybe just see what your heart rate is now, and then we'll test it at the end of the class. Super stuff. All right, so we're gonna start off with jogging. We need to send a message to our brain and say, hello, wakey, wakey, it's time for exercise. So if there's anybody at home, say, come on in, let's go and let's exercise and get our bodies pumping. All right, so we're gonna have a timer and we're gonna try and do 2 exercises per minute. All right, the first one we're gonna do is jogging and then jumping jacks. Remember, when we do our jumping jacks, our feet go out and hands out at the same time and back in. Okay, let's give it a go. Music maestro, if you please. Ready? Off we go. Okay, yes, I am so excited about exercise today, and I'm so glad that you guys are joining me. Getting our bodies moving and our heart rate up is so good. I can already feel my happy endorphins flowing throughout my body. It's gonna be a great day, that I know. Good job. Now, listen, if you can go even faster than me, you do that. If you have loads and loads of energy, go Quick as you can. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move on next to our jumping jacks. Remember, feet out, arms up above the head. Same time. Okay, here we go. And out and in. Again, if you have tons of energy, I wanna see you go really hard, fast as you can. If not, okay, we can also go like this, right? To just get to keep our hearts pumping and our heart rate up. So either way, you have loads of energy, like this, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, or like this, also works just as good. Perfect. Whew. I'm already feeling it. Deep breaths. Okay, so next up is gonna be high knees and line jumps. Now with the high knees, what I want you to do is put your hands out and bring your knees up to your hands. So not hands to knees, but in fact, knees to hands. Okay, so we can do this really fast if we have loads of energy. So, or we can do slow and controlled. Either one works. You do the best that you can do either way, okay? Then we're gonna use our imagination. We're gonna imagine that there's a line and we're gonna jump over the line. See? Pop, pop. Or we can also step over it, which I'm probably gonna do. And I'm gonna probably dance too. Okay, are we ready? High knees, here we go. Yes. Knees to hands. Knees to hands, and quick as you can at home. Try go faster than me. Good stuff. This is feeling good already, actually. I'm getting kind of a little bit of a stretch in as well as exercise. And I'm feeling really, really positive. Ah, yes. Knee to hand, knee to hand, knee to hand. Let's go. Okay, next up, imagination, line jumps. All right, so if you've loads of energy, over and back, or step. And I'm gonna step, because I wanna groove. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I am. I'm going underneath a rope or something. See, imagine it was here. And under, under. See, I've just made up a new dance. Keep it up. Remember, side to side if you can, if you have loads of energy. Really good, guys, really good. Keep it up. Heart rate's going. Lovely stuff. Okay, now we're gonna hit the ground and we're gonna do some push-ups and then a plank. Okay, so for our push-ups, again, 2 ways we can do this. You can either do a regular push-up, okay, like this, or we can do it on our knees, which I think I'm gonna do. Okay, the biggest thing that you want to remember though is you want to get your face to the ground. Imagine that there was a fist there, so that's kind of how low you want to go. And keep your back as straight as you can. And then our plank is going to be like so, on our forearms. And again, try and keep our back as flat as we can. Okay, are we ready? Let's go. Push-ups to begin. All right, and go. Whew. Oh yeah. I can tell you one thing. I'm gonna feel the burn. Feel the burn, baby. Woo. Come on. Couple more, couple more. Keep it going, keep it going. Yes. Ooh, I'm starting to get a bit shaky, eggs and bacon. Oh, one more, one more. Woo, that was good. Okay, we're gonna keep with it and we're gonna work on our core and our stability. So we're gonna get into our plank and try and hold for 30 seconds. Do it with me now, okay? Ready? Let's go. And we're up. So right now, I'm thinking of really good things like ice cream and puppies, and no homework days. Woo. Don't forget your breathing. This is really good for our strength. And I can feel it in my core already, and I actually can feel it in my arms too. Right, let's do 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, guys. That was so much fun. Whew. That was awesome. I am so proud of you all. We worked so hard today, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling great. Well done, what an achievement. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day and the rest of all of your learning. It was so much fun, and I'll see you soon. Slán!
Díchaí bachorda agus fáilte oversach ag Homeschool Hub is mise múntar Clíona. So a very special date is coming up very soon. Do you know what it is? That's right, it's the 1st of February, which is St. Brigid's Day. But what do you know about St. Bridget? You may have learned a song about her in school, or you may have made a St. Bridget's cross. But did you know that a lot of traditions that are considered Christian or Roman Catholic share ties with pagan worship? Let's chat about it. Whether or not she existed, these stories contain aspects in common with the details of the pagan goddess and illustrate the transition from pagan to Christian worship. And I'm sure you've heard stories about St. Bridget in your own schools, and we will just remind ourselves now of some of those stories. So, St. Brigid's Day is on the 1st of February, which is coincidentally the first day of the Feast of Imbolc. Have you ever heard of it? So Imbolc is a festival belonging to Brigid, the Celtic goddess who, in later times, became famous as a Christian saint. So actually, Brigid was a Celtic goddess first, and now we call her St. Bridget. At first, her festival on February 1st was known as Imbolc or Imilk, two Gaelic names which refer to the lactation of the ewes. So it's when the mammy sheep start making milk for the baby. So lactation is the flow of milk that happens when the baby lambs are born in the spring. So Imbolc is kind of all to do with baby lambs being born. In pre-Christian times, Imbolc observance began the night before February 1st. So it's kind of like Christmas, where kind of Christmas we started on Christmas Eve. So people who were celebrating prepared for a visit from Brigid into their homes and crafted an effigy, which is a model of a person, or the goddess, from bundles of oats and rushes. So what they used to do is they'd make little Brigits. The effigy was placed in a dress and put in a basket overnight. The day of Imbolc was celebrated by burning lamps and lighting bonfires in tribute to Brigid. Over the centuries, Brigid was adopted into Christianity as Saint Brigid, one of Ireland's 3 patron saints. The Catholic Church claims Saint Brigid was a historical person, with accounts of her life written by monks dating back to the 8th century. Brigid is the patron saint of Irish nuns, newborns, midwives, dairymaids, and cattle. Whether she existed or not, these stories contain aspects in common with the details of the pagan goddess and illustrate the transition from pagan into Christian worship. So you'll find that there's lots of things that Roman Catholics and Christians celebrate that are also to be found in kind of Celtic myths. I'm sure you've heard stories about St. Brigid in your own schools. And we'll just remind ourselves now of some of those stories. Like the goddess Brigid, Saint Brigid is associated with milk and fire. Born in Ireland around 453 AD, Saint Brigid was the daughter of a slave and a chieftain who was celebrated at an early age for her agricultural knowledge. So she knew loads of things about farming and the land and about nature. She had no interest in marrying, and her goal was to create a monastery in Kildare, supposedly the former site of a shrine to the Celtic goddess of the same name. Brigid lived there her entire life. She was renowned for her charity to the poor, and stories abound about her healing powers. And did you know that St. Brigid was a friend of St. Patrick's, whose preaching set her on a course at an early age, and she became Ireland's first nun? St. Brigid is said to have died in 524 AD. In the 12th century, legend holds that the nuns in Kildare attended to a fire built in St. Brigid's honour. The fire had burned for 500 years and produced no ash, and only women were allowed in the proximity of the fire. The celebration of St. Brigid's Day on February 1st was put in place by the church to replace Imbolc. People who celebrate sometimes make a Brigid's cross out of reeds, as well as a little corn doll or an effigy, and that's exactly what we are going to do today. I am going to show you how to make a Brigid doll, or as I like to call them, a Breed's-oak. So Breed's the name and Breed's-oak is like a little Brigid, okay? Let's get started. So here is what you are going to need. You need some straw or hay, ribbon and scissors. And if you don't have hay or straw, which a lot of you might not, you can use wool or paper, or go and have a look outside and see what you can find. So first, I am going to pick out some long, straight pieces of this hay because I need to make a plait, okay? So I'm going to pick 9 pieces, okay? So 1, 2, 3. 1, let me see. So I'm at 5 now, 7, perfect, and 9. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one end of each of these, oopsie daisy, like this, and I have all the ends here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some sellotape, and you might do this sometimes if you're ever plaiting wool or anything. The easiest thing is to kind of try to stick it down to something so you can work from it. So I'm going to stick it down here on the table. Oopsie daisy. So that keeps it still while I'm trying to plait it. Okay, so I'm going to section it into 3 pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start plaiting it. Now, if you have any problems with plaiting at home, why don't you see if there's a grown-up or somebody around who can help you do plaits, okay? So you need 3 different sections and it starts to get quite knotted. What I'm actually doing here, I know it seems a bit strange, but I'm making her arms. And what you can do as well is you can soak the straw or the hay beforehand before you start making your little Breed's-oak to make it more bendable. Now, so let's see. I'm going to keep plaiting. So if you've never done before, a plait is something actually that's very handy to know how to do. It's not just for hair, it could be for anything. So what you do is you take 3 pieces and you put your side piece over the middle piece, your other side piece over the other side piece, and you go outside in, outside in. And it actually looks more complicated than it is. Look, so look, I'm taking the outside, folding it over, outside, folding it over, outside, folding it over. I can get really quick at it as well. So I'm just going to speed this up and just be done with making my arms. And there's actually not a whole lot to the St. Brigid's doll. Now, I think I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to just hold that for a second. And what I am going to do, I'm just going to lean on that to stop from unraveling. I'm going to get a little piece of ribbon. So I have some nice kind of paper ribbon here. And I'm going to tie it around this end, just to keep this secure. And I'm going to do the same with this end. Okay, and I'm just going to cut off the excess there. So look, I still have the little hands, and I'm going to peel this off because I don't need any more. Done with the sellotape, and I'm just going to tidy this up as well. And I'm going to tie these together into a loop. So I left the ribbon long on one part, and I'm just going to tie this into a loop here. Now, there we are. Great, and I'm going to make sure it's nice and secure. Rightio, and I'm just going to cut off any extra ribbon because I'm going to have lots of pieces hanging off. Now, The next thing we're going to do is we are going to make Brigid's head and her body. So what I also have here is I have some kind of like barley and oats and stuff like that. So I'm going to pick a few of these pieces to put inside the dress because they look gorgeous. So let me have a look. See, I'll pick 1, 2, and 3. Right? Now, what I need to do is I need to get a good few handfuls of hay. Oops. So I have it here in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it like this, right? I'm going to actually put it through my arms here, okay? So let's have a look, see? Just like that. And then what you're going to do is we are going to tie it, because this is the body, and we're going to tie it again here for the head, so you can kind of see the doll happening now. And while I'm at it, I'm going to stick some of these in the dress as well. And you can, in fact, use lavender or any other flowers that you'd like to find outside, or anything that you like. So I'm just going to pick a few more. Lovely. So I'm going to take a little bit more wheat. And what I do is I just put it into the bunch where my hand is holding it. And what you could use, that you could actually put coloured flowers, anything you can find that might be a nice decoration. So what I have now is I have another piece of ribbon, and I am going to tie it around what's going to be her waist. So it's handy to have 2 hands for this now, as you can see. So I have her waist tied. Okay, so we have her waist tied, and here are her hands. So what we need to do now is we need to do her head. So let's have a look, see? So I'm going to, again, it's handier if you have 2 hands to do it, so ask somebody at home. It's handier if you have somebody at home, so you can ask somebody to help you. Now, let me see, and I'm just going to tie this around here, and that's going to be her head. So can you see she's starting to take shape. So I'm just going to, oh, goodness gracious me. Now, and I'm going to, while I'm at this, I'm just going to tidy up the bottom of her dress, just because it's starting to look a bit bedraggled. Now, lovely. Now, we have her waist done and we have her little head done, but do you know what I think we should give her is some hair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another few kind of longish strands of straw, hay, I should say. Straw is kind of yellow and thick. Now, you kind of need your thicker pieces if you have any. Now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of place it on her head like so. Let's have a look. I'm going to place it on her head like this. Now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that down, and I'm going to kind of pin it on with a headband. All right? So, oopsie daisy. Now I'm just going to tidy up her hair for her. So now I've most of it done, so I'm just going to do a quick little tidy up. Now, and I'm just going to cut her hair so it's all the same length if we can. There she is with her hair and her little arms and her lovely little dress. Now, so there is our Brigid all finished. So I hope that you enjoyed learning all about the fabulous goddess Brigid, or Saint Brigid, and how to make a Brigid. Why not make lots of them with different coloured ribbons and string them around your house in preparation for Imbolc? Please send us in your photos and videos. We'd love to see how you got on. Slán!